Hello everybody, welcome to the award ceremony for the 2025 edition of the Enrico Anglesio Prize and Satellite Prizes. This is a special edition, is the edition of the 20th anniversary of the prize. And I will introduce the ceremony summarizing the history of these 20 years of this contest. The starting point goes back to 2003 when Professor Anglesio died at 95. In a clip that we have posted at our YouTube channel 3 years ago, and that is still there, I believe, I have shortly described the professional and human trajectory of Enrico Anglesio. After a long and active life, even when dying, he opened a surprising new page. In his late will and testament, he reserved a generous legacy to be invested in cancer research and advocacy. The testament appointed me as executor. I gathered together some few other friends of Anglesio, and we established a foundation in his name and memory. The legal aspect, the administrative ones, and the organizational aspect for establishing this foundation took their time, and we were fully in operation not before mid-2005. The first initiative has been the provision of travel grants for researchers and the establishment of the Enrico Anglesio Prize. Initially, the prize was linked to the annual grant meeting starting from the edition of 2006 held in Palma de Mallorca. Between 2006 and 2016, first column, the Grand Round and the Enrico Prize saw 11 editions with 12 winners. One winner more than the number of the edition because in 2008 the prize has been duplicated for celebrating the centenary of the birth of Enrico Anglesio. And the prize saw a total of 67 competitors. In 2010, a second round was added linked to the EAP annual scientific conference, which by 2019 and with a prolongation in 2023 saw a total participation of 98 competitors and 11 winners. The pandemic that broke out in 2020 forced the introduction of a virtual format, which proved enormously enriching for the competition for the prize. First, with the virtual format, the participation expanded significantly, having become independent of a physical attendance to a conference. Second, the requirements for running the contest have been increased. Each candidate must now produce a written dissertation, a long video to be evaluated by the jury, and a short presentation to be publicly presented in a rapid fire at the award ceremony. Also, since 2020, two new prizes have been established in addition to the main award that goes to the best overall scoring work. The first new prize dedicated to the memory of Elvo Tempia. Elvo Tempia was an Italian member of the parliament and a cancer advocate, goes to the youngest among the best scoring competitors. The second new prize goes to the best scoring among the competitors coming from low middle-income countries. This prize has been dedicated to the memory of Sharon Whelan, the long-time technical secretary of the International Association of Cancer Registry, for the first 4 years, and to the memory of Harald Zurhausen, the well-known Nobel laureate for 2008, Nobel laureate in medicine, from 2024 on. The figures for the virtual format are as follows. In full edition, there has been a total of 113 competitors from 28 countries and with 13 winners of the 3 prizes. These awards would not exist without the jury, which performs a remarkable job, with an effort that increased with the virtual format introduced in 2020. The jury is presently made of 19 persons, some of them serving since the beginning. As a further merit of the jurors, they serve on voluntary basis. All the continents and subcontinents are represented in the jury. Dr. Rosso, that is the chair of this jury, will soon introduce his colleagues, his juror colleagues. Finally, to celebrate the 20th anniversary, we allowed ourselves some extra generosity. The main prize will be duplicated in two ways. There will be two joint winners, the first and the second best scoring competitors, and the monetary amount of the prize will be doubled for each of them. For the satellite prizes, Elmo Tempia and Arazurhausen, in their turn, the monetary amount will be increased of 50%. We will soon assist to the rapid fire of the short presentation by all the finalists. Let's hope that this edition will remain memorable also from the point of view of the quality of the work presented. And now the agenda of today's ceremony. The first point, Facts and Figures, 20 years of activity has already been done. Next point will be a greeting from Viola Ardini, the president of the Fondo Elmo Tempia. Then Dr. Rosso will be introduced and acknowledge each of the members of the jury. Then Lidia Sacchetto will introduce the 2025 candidates in alphabetical order, and they will briefly present the work in competition. There will be a first batch of 4 presentations. Then an interview to Fulvio Riccieri, made by Stella De Sabata, will be presented. Fulvio Riccieri has been the winner of the first edition of the prize in 2006. Then Lidia Sacchetto will introduce a second batch of 4 candidates, and we will assist to the short presentation. Then there will be an interview to Professor Yuri Ito, the first winner of the EAP round in 2010. Lidia Sacchetto will introduce the last batch of 4 candidates, and then the winners will be announced, the winner will be reacted. As a final step, Lidia Sacchetto will briefly advertise about the activity of the alumni committee of the Enrico Anglesio Prize, and then the ceremony will be closed. So now I pass the floor to Mrs. Viola Ardini for an address in name of the Fondo Tempia, Fondo Edo Tempia of Biella, that support the prize Elmo Tempia.
Good morning. This is the 6th edition of the Elmo Tempia Hour, which is very important to me because it commemorates a person who is a double important to me. He created the Fondo Edo Tempia, transforming the pain of losing young son to melanoma into a lifelong commitment to supporting cancer patients. But for me, he was also a grandfather, a role model both in his family and in society, with his generous dedication to others. He was also ahead of his time. Almost 30 years have passed since he decided to dedicate part of the foundation efforts to cancer research, transforming a small town like Biella, at the foot of the Piedmont Alps, into a center collaborating with medical and scientific institutions around the world. The award dedicated to Enrico Anglesio shares this same cosmopolitan vocation, with its openness to research excellence wherever it is found. We are very happy to do our small part, and we are particularly pleased that it is dedicated to young talents. I would like to thank Roberto Zanetti and the Fondo Moroni for having us on their side, and I congratulate the Anglesio Prize on 20th anniversary. And I thanks all of you for your important work.
As the agenda dictates, it's my turn to acknowledge the jury of this prize that we had during these 20 years. So let's begin by saying that one of the cornerstones of the Anglesio Prize over this past 20 years has been our jury. We have asked them to evaluate candidates based on several aspects of their works, from the relevance of originality of the study to the effectiveness with which they communicate and present scientific results to their audience. First and foremost, the real audience at the conference when it was in present, and then to a wider audience on the web. These have always been a challenging task and a time-consuming task indeed. For this reason, We wanted to assemble a large and diverse team as possible to cover the many facets of the onco-epidemiological scientific endeavor, bringing together experts from different cultural backgrounds and parts of the world. So let me take a moment to introduce each of them. In alphabetic order, we have John Aiken from Australia, former director of the IARC, and Australia is also one of our prize winners. Then Claudia Lemani, who won in 2008, was a former Anglesio prize winner, and is now a professor at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, as well as co-chair of the International Cancer Survival Concord. Andrea Barodoni, director of the Ticino Cancer Registry, one of the first jurors to join the Anglesio Prize. Enrico, former director of the Ireland Cancer Registry, who consistently offers vital suggestions for candidate evaluation and for improving prize rules. Stella De Sabata will be featured soon in a pre-recorded video during this ceremony. Stella must also be mentioned because, alongside Dora Loria, helped finalize the first version of the prize rules. Then they change and then they evolve, but we really should acknowledge both Stella and Dora for their first contribution to these rules. Jaume Gasserang, director of Tarragona Cancer Registry, involved with us since the Grell round of the prize, so the very beginning. Mozamen Sairi, professor of public health at the Faculty of Medicine in Tunis. His cancer registry also produced one of our winners, Ryan Malek, in 2021, and his expertise is highly valuable in evaluating and proposing strong candidates. Alexander Catalini, head of the Institute of Social Medicine and Epidemiology at the University of Lübeck, and chair of the board of the German National Cancer Registry. And Germany has always contributed many candidates and winners as well. Betsy Kohler, former CEO of the North American Association of Cancer Registry, she has diligently evaluated candidates that play a key role in promoting our prize across North America, leading to many candidates and winners from the region. She was recently appointed an honorary member of the IARC, joining an esteemed group of honorary members within this jury. We have a lot of them. Anna Corrier, our representative for Central and South Africa, who has brought forward numerous candidates despite all imaginable challenges coming from that area. Guy Lanois, professor of the Centre Hospitalier Université de Caen, who provides valuable clinical insight crucial to evaluating several candidates' work from a clinical perspective. Dora Loria, former director of the Department of Epidemiology and Environmental Carcinogenesis at the Roffo Institute in Buenos Aires. As mentioned, she helped draft the original prize rules, and despite being busy with her wonderful grandchildren, she continues to offer thoughtful suggestions to improve candidate evaluation. Then, Tomohiro Matsuda, director of the Division of Epidemiology at the National Institute of Public Health in Japan, and former IARC president. Our first prize round took place during the IARC annual conference hosted in Yokohama. Marion Piñeros, originally from Colombia and now working in France at the agencies in Lyon within the Cancer Survival Unit, brings a unique perspective combining clinical medicine, public health, and epidemiology, particularly within the Spanish-speaking scientific community. Then, Sabine Sisley, professor of epidemiology at the University of Twente, has been one of our most active judges in the beginning of the IARC round of the prize. She also played a major role in publicizing the prize, which has resulted in many Dutch candidates and winners. Hans Storm deserves a special mention. Former director of Danish Cancer Registry and Danish Cancer Society and former president of IARC, he often jokes about retirement, but remains energetic and involved. A judge with some of the longest experience, whom we greatly appreciate. Lisbeth Van Eycken, director of the Belgian Cancer Registry, is a member of the IARC board and ENCR steering committee, with a background as a radiation radiation oncology, her perspective is especially valuable for study at the interface of clinical and epidemiological research. Vesna Zadnik, director of the Slovenia Cancer Registry, currently on the IARC board of directors as the European representative, has also served as vice president of the jury, and we thank her twice sincerely for her dedicated support. Not pictured here, but important to mention, is Lidia Sacchetto, vice president of the Fondo Elena Moroni, a former prize winner in 2016. She also participates now actively in the judging process as an internal evaluator. And it's also time to thank those who served as judges in previous in-person rounds, such as Luc Raymond, Christine Boujardi, Jean-Michel Lutz from Switzerland, Ikeo Tanaka and Hideaki Tsukuma from Japan, Donna Turner, Michel Camus from Canada, Shyam Maraji from Mauritius, and Anna Miranda from Portugal. So let me thank all of them once more. And so far for the first 20 years. For the future, again, we want to keep the same spirit involving new jurors, increasing expectations, coverage and cultural background. And this is the main reason we have this large batch of jurors that we keep thanking. Now it's time to present the first batch of candidates. So let me leave floor to Lidia Sacchetto. So please, Lidia.
Thank you, Stefano Rosso. Now it's time to give the floor to our finalists, who will shortly introduce their work. Each participant may share one slide and speak for about 2 minutes. Please remember that the final ranking of the contest is completely independent from these presentations. This is simply a moment to give visibility to our outstanding contestants. To keep the atmosphere relaxed and to break the tension a bit, the presentation will be interspersed with 2 short interviews, as already mentioned in the agenda. We will proceed in alphabetical order, and let me apologize in advance for any mispronunciation of your names. Before starting, we should also to acknowledge Alberto Catalano from the University of Eastern Piedmont, Italy. He applied for the contest back in July, but later, with great integrity, informed the prize committee that his submitted work was accepted for publication and therefore respectively withdrew from the competition. We truly appreciate his honesty and professionalism, and we warmly congratulate him on the publication of his manuscript. We very much hope to have him again among the participants next year. Now, let's begin. First, Catharina Nienke Alberts from the University Medical Center in Amsterdam, Netherlands, will present a work with the title Cancer Incidence Among Migrant Population in Europe, Observation from 5 Population-Based Cancer Registry within the Cancer Radar Initiative. Catharina, the floor is yours.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to introduce Cancer Radar. Indeed, my name is Nienke Alberts, and this is a collaboration between IACR, IARC, Amsterdam UMC, and many cancer registries across Europe. To introduce Cancer Radar, I will answer 3 simple questions. Why, how, and what? Before I begin, I would like you to picture someone you know, a neighbor, a colleague, or someone close to you. Was this a person with a migration background? Well, this is quite likely, as migration happens throughout the world. And in Europe, for example, 12% of the European population has a migration background, and this number is going to increase in the coming decades. A migrant can mean many things, but the most common definition is someone living in a country different from the one in which they were born. What we overall observe is that people with a migration background can face barriers in accessing healthcare and that their cancer risk can differ from the host population. Yet what we currently lack is a systematic evidence across Europe about this risk. And with Cancer Radar, we want to close this knowledge gap. As you can see in the middle here, we focus on infection-related cancers and cancers that can be detected through screening. After a long preparation phase with 7 pilot cancer registries, we now arrived at Objective 1, in which we collect and quantify the risk. As you can see on the right, we first identified where the data is available, and we invited the registries with existing data to share their data by the end of this year. We also tested the data collection process with the pilot registries, and what we overall observe is a higher risk of infection-related cancers and a lower risk of screening amenable cancers. But the most important conclusion is that integrating migration background into routine cancer surveillance is feasible. I want to end by thanking all the involved cancer registries, as Cancer Radar would not be what it is today without their efforts. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Nike. We can next go with Giulia Chiari from the Basque Center for Applied Mathematics in Spain, who will talk about fitness advantages, prediction of resistances and protocol design, exploiting the synergy between mathematical modeling and statistics. Giulia, the floor is yours.
So good afternoon. I'm Julia. I'm a postdoc at Beckham in Bilbao, and it's a pleasure to be here. So thank you for the invitation. This project is centered on the use of radiotherapy in cancer treatment. So the core idea is to understand the phenotypic heterogeneity of tumor cell population and to leverage our ability to predict evolutionary selection dynamics. The aim of the study is being able to optimize therapy in a truly patient-specific way. So one novelty of our work lies in combining a mathematical model with a statistical analysis of both the relevant parameters and the clinical outcomes. And among the goals we have achieved, the first is theoretical. So we validated our model and confirmed that its predictions are consistent with clinical observation. And building on that, we were able to characterize the phenotypes that tend to gain an advantage and become selected first during the natural evolution of the tumor mass and then under the selective pressure of radiotherapy. We identify the biological factors that influence different therapeutical strategies, each characterized by a distinct total dose, dosing interval, and number of fraction. And we then introduce a therapy evaluation system based on a weighted combination of three elements. First, the time before a potential relapse. Second, the selection of resistant trait that may reduce the effectiveness of a second treatment. And last, the toxicity. So by adjusting the weight of each factors, we were able to outline different patient profiles ranging from the most fragile to the healthiest. In this work, we identify the optimal treatment protocols according to patient-specific characteristics. And since the models select as optimal those treatments that are already considered best in clinical practice, we believe that improving this tool could provide valuable guidance for clinical practice in tumor where an optimal strategy has not yet been defined. Finally, we analyze the protocol performance when used as first-line or second-line treatment, optimizing not only the individual protocols, but also their sequence, again stratified by patient features. So beside the price, if you find this topic interesting, please contact me and let's talk about this. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Giulia. We now continue with Nicolas De Stefanis from the University of Turin, Italy, who will briefly present integrating deep learning extracted histopathological features into prognostic model for metastatic progression in prostate cancer. Nicolas, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So, hello everyone. I'm a PhD student at the Cancer Epidemiology Unit of the University of Turin, and my work explores whether deep learning can extract prognostic information directly from histopathological slides, information that may not be captured by routine pathology. So, as you might imagine, digital slides contain far richer phenotypic detail that can be manually annotated. And some of these latent information may reflect biological processes linked to prostate cancer progression. And our aim was to test whether such image-derived features could predict metastatic prostate cancer and whether adding them to the MSKCC nomogram, which is a widely used prognostic tool, could improve its performance. So we analyzed 623 patients from the TPCP cohort and extracted features from tumor regions using two models: a variational autoencoder and the pre-trained H-Optimus-1 model. So we incorporated these into a metastasis-specific Cox model and assessed the 5-year prediction, and the results were quite clear. So only H-Optimus-1 features were associated with metastatic progression, and they outperformed the variational autoencoder. And also adding these features slightly improved the MSKCC discrimination in the first 3 years, while the performance at 5 years remained around 80%. So notably, replacing biopsy-derived MSKCC variables with H-Optimus-1 features preserved performance, suggesting that unsupervised deep learning can automatically extract meaningful prognostic signals from tissue without any manual grading. So looking ahead, this approach could streamline pathology workflows and help standardize early risk stratification in patients. So in conclusion, I'd like to thank my team, the ARC Foundation for funding, and you for selecting our work as a finalist for the Enrico Anglesio Prize.
Thank you very much. Now the floor goes to Mariko Anafusa from the National Cancer Center Institute for Cancer Control in Japan, speaking about socioeconomic inequalities in lung cancer survival and the mediating role of diagnostic stage and surgical access, a nationwide population-based study in Japan. Mariko, the stage is yours.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Hanasa from National Cancer Center, Japan. Our question was simple. Under Japan's universal health coverage, the post-diagnosis socioeconomic gaps in lung cancer still exist, and why? We ranked the National Cancer Registry with area deprivation index to evaluate nationwide net survival inequalities, and we quantified how much tumor stage and surgery access mediate those gaps. There are three key findings. First, a net survival gap by deprivation persists nationwide. Second, early detection helps, but it is insufficient. In mediation analysis, stage at diagnosis mediated only 12.8% of the survival gap. Third, limited surgery access is pivotal. Surgery mediated 26% of the gap. Our study suggests that early detection alone, including screening, will not close these gaps. We must also rebalance access to curative pathways. Ultimately, our message has twofold implications. First, because the survival gap cannot be fully explained by stage and surgery, we need sustained investigation to understand its mechanisms. Second, now that nationwide inequalities are evident, we should introduce approaches supported by international evidence and regularly effective in Japan, such as anti-dropout systems and trust-building measures to reduce cancer care gaps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now a short break for scientific contest. Stella De Sabata, who unfortunately could not join live today, has interviewed Fulvio Ricceri, the very first winner of the Enrico Anglesio Prize back in 2006. And we can have the interview now. Share.
Hello, everybody. Greetings from Geneva. I'm Stella De Sabata, scientific advisor of Fondo Elena Moroni, and member of the jury of the Enrico Anglesio Prize from its very first edition. This year, I cannot be with you, which I very much regret. But thanks to technology, I can still take part in the celebration of the 20th edition of the prize, talking to its inaugural awardee, Fulvio Ricceri, who is now Associate Professor for Hygiene, Epidemiology and Public Health at the University of Turin in Italy. Buongiorno. Thank you for being with us and going back to 2006. Perhaps let's start this conversation. You can tell us about where you are today in your professional journey, and then we'll go back to the future.
Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for the invitation for this small interview. As you said, now I'm Associate Professor of Hygiene, Epidemiology and Public Health in Turin, Italy, and my main field of study is social and molecular aspect of aging.
A very, very prominent topic in these days of silver everything. Let's go back to the beginning. Who were you in 2006?
In 2006, I graduated the year before, and I was a research fellow in epidemiology at the Piedmont Cancer Registry, where I had the opportunity to make research on cancer registry data.
And what prompted you to enter the competition?
I was working with Stefano and Roberto. We were working on a study on the survival in patients with multiple tumors. And I had the opportunity to present this work at the GRIL meeting in Palma, And for me, it was the first opportunity to present the research. And I was lucky because it was the first year in which the prize set, and I had the opportunity to participate to the competition.
And you were not lucky, it was your hard work that paid off with the recognition of the prize. What was the impact of winning the prize at the professional but also personal level, at the institutional level? Any repercussions of the prize?
I think I had two different effects in my life. First, from the scientific point of view, winning this prize convinced me that the study of multiple diseases in the same patients was an important field of research. And in fact, starting from that time, my research was mainly focused on multimorbidity in aging, for example. Second, from the academic point of view, having obtained these prestigious international awards was always recognized in the application I sent.
Thank you. Where did you publish your research? Because that is part of the conditions for, if not winning, but being awarded the financial part of the prize.
The article was published in Emerging Team in Epidemiology. That is a journal that I think it changes its name this year in Public Health Discover, I think. It was cited a few times, so there's some international recognition.
Excellent. So you also broadened your scientific network with the publication and engaging with the scientific community.
For sure. It was an opportunity. I used the methods that I presented in that paper still now in my work. So I'm happy for that.
Fantastic. Lastly, did you have a mentor at the time of entering the competition? And what about you as a mentor to others today?
At the time of the prize, my mentor was Stefano Rosso at the Piedmont Cancer Registry, and I thank him to have the opportunity to participate to the prize. And now that I lead a research group at the university, I always suggest to my PhD students to participate to the prize. And I'm happy that last year one of them was included in a final selection.
Excellent. We all love having mentors, and we want to give, if not back, give forward. So being there for those who can benefit from our experience is one of our duties, I believe. Is there anything that you would like to say to the candidates of the 20th edition of the prize?
I would first congratulate with them for being in such an important competition. Good luck for the competition, and I'm sure that your research that you are presenting now will be important for you, but especially for the scientific community and hopefully for the patients.
Thank you, Fulvio. I think that these words are very apt to close this conversation. We'll let you go back to your busy scientific life, and we await eagerly the results of the selection, the final selection of the winner of the Enrico Anglesio Prize 2025. Goodbye, everybody. Good luck.
Wow, great interview. So now let's return to our finalists. We will travel virtually to Martinique, where Rémi Hubert from the University Hospital of Martinique will briefly present his work titled Harnessing Pre-Existing Data for Public Health Research in the Caribbean, the Chloe Kappa Experience in Prostate Cancer and Environmental Exposure. Rémi, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So yes, let's fly to Martinique in the French West Indies, located in the Caribbean. Well, this project is funded by the French National Institutes and aim to have a better understanding of the protein of prostate cancer in the Caribbean, because prostate cancer is one of the highest cancer in this region. And there were two objectives in these studies. First, to describe and have a better understanding of the protein of prostate cancer by describing incidence, mortality, and overall survival, but also to look at the risk group regarding prostate cancer, which is the D'Amico risk group. And we were able to combine the population-based cancer registry with environmental data, because in this region, a lot of studies assess the soil of Martinique to know where is the most contamination area. Well, we have results, and when we integrating environmental exposures and the cases of prostate cancer, but not only the cases, the risk group of prostate cancer, we found that most of the cases were located in a non-exposure area or in a low exposure area, which means that most of the cases, most of the death of prostate cancer were located in the area with a level of contamination very low. So this pattern suggests a complex nonlinear relationship between exposure and prostate cancer. So this is a really short presentation of this project, and it's helped to have a better understanding about the prostate cancer in this region, and will help to better visualize the pattern of prostate cancer in the region. So I thank you very much again for the opportunity to present this work to this prize, and I'm very open to a lot of questions regarding this work.
Thank you very much, Remy. Next is Niccolò Landini from Oncological Screening Local Health Agency of Ferrara, Italy, presenting protocol advances in oncological screening programs, Ferrara's approach. Niccolò, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thanks to all for the attention and for the chance to present our work here. We wanted to improve and perfect the standardized methods of screening already existing by working on the protocol, on the screening itself, and on the drugs used for the type of screening that are used respectively for what concerns the hepatitis C screening for hepatocellular cancer, the breast and the ovarian cancer for the radiofamilial risk, and the colorectal cancer. What we did for what concerns the protocol, we invested on the responsibility from the population by doubling the invites and lessening the distress and the waste of time by inviting the population while having already routine blood samplings to do. That way, we increased the adherence to the hepatitis C screening of 14.67% and allowed us to have in 2023 the highest adherence on the Italian country for the screening to the HCV, with 56% of the invited adhering. We also made demographical studies for what concerns the genotypes of those which had been screened positive to the second level of screening. Also, for what concerns colorectal cancer, we changed the drug. We used the 1 liter polyethyl glycol plus ascorbate rather than 4 liter polyethyl glycol, which is the standardized one for bowel cleansing, heavily lowering the non-operative colonoscopies and increasing the bowel cleansing for perfecting also the screening of early benign polyps. That way, we lowered also the onset of malignant colorectal cancer in the population with that. And by advertising these results with also publications, we reached an increase in the adherence to the screening for the population of 5 and 3.90% for the first and second level. Finally, for the hereditary transmission of genes which mutation can cause breast and ovarian cancer, we screened up to 12 years with the Spoke Center using televisits and doubling the normal radiographic magnetic resonance and echographical exams on nearly 107,000 women. We diagnosed 131 hazardous gene mutations, which we mapped and genotyped. And we also made a mapping study on the population for what concerns the demographical and geographical dislocation of those hazardous genotypes. We are also working on the full extending of the spoke for the demographical characterization of possible offset of those cancers in this year. I want to thank you for the attention and also my team for all these years for this implementation that heavily helped the public health screening and the public health welfare for the province of Ferrara. Thank you.
Thank you, Niccolò. Now the floor goes to Luis Gabriel Parralara from the Universitat ICESI, Facultad de Sciences de la Salud in Cali, Colombia, with the presentation Survival for Colon Adenocarcinoma in a Hospital-Based Cancer Registry in Cali, Colombia. Gabriel, the stage is yours.
Thank you for all team of Enrico Anglesio Prize and the Fondo Elena Moroni for this amazing opportunity. Our study evaluates the overall survival of patients with colorectal treated at Fundación Valle de Lili, a tertiary hospital located in Cali, Colombia, and we used data from the hospital-based cancer registry in the period 2015 to 2022. Colorectal cancer is an increasing health burden across Latin America and the Caribbean, and although population-based registry exists, detailed information on survival and prognostic factor is still limited. Hospital registry help bridge this gap and provide enriched clinical and therapeutic data. We included more than 1,600 patients with a median age of 64 years and a slight female predominance, and most covered by the private insurance regimen. The median follow-up was about 32 months, and 564 deaths were recorded during this period. Overall survival at 5 years of follow-up was 65.6%, highlighting an important challenge for cancer outcomes in our city. Unexpected survival decreased sharply across clinical stations. Patients with localized disease reached an 84% 5-year survival rate, while those with metastatic disease had only 18%. In the multivariable analysis, male sex, advanced stage, and right-sized tumors were associated with high-risk mortality. This study demonstrates that colon adenocarcinoma remains a major public health concern in Colombia and Cali, and that sociodemographic and clinical factors significantly influence outcomes. Moving forward, strengthening cancer care networks, improving access to molecular diagnosis, and ensuring equitable health coverage will be key priorities in our region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we proceed with Daniel Redondo Sanchez from the Biomedical Research Networking Center for Epidemiology and Public Health in Spain, who will speak about is cancer increasing in young adults in Spain? Incidence trends for the period 1993-2018. Daniel, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Lydia. Let me start by thanking the organization of the jury of the prize. Recent data have showed alarming increases in the incidence of several types of cancer in young adults, including breast and digestive tumors. So we wanted to evaluate the epidemiological situation in Spain. We conducted a retrospective observational study using data of the regions shaded in the figure, using data of the Spanish network of cancer registries, REDECAM. We considered all new incident cancer cases in young adults between 20 and 49 years old, diagnosed between 1993 and 2018 in 15 provinces or islands, covered by 12 population-based cancer registries in Spain. We computed age-standardized rates per 100,000 young adults, truncated, and we also analyzed the trends, computing the annual percent of change and 95% confidence intervals. In the results, in the right side of the poster, we can see that we analyzed 154,000 new cases in young adults. 58% of them were diagnosed in women, representing 12% of the cancer cases for all ages. We can see in the figure the annual percent of change in men in the left and women on the right. Red means an increase and green a decrease. So we can see increases in testicular cancer in men and also in breast cancer and thyroid cancer in women, and decreases in lung cancer in men, lip, oral cavity and pharynx, and urinary bladder in men, and also decreases in cervix, uterine, and ovarian cancer in women. We also found worrying increases in some age groups in both men and women. And going to the conclusions, cancer incidence in Spain has increased slightly among young women and decreased among men, with significant difference depending on the cancer site. And the analysis revealed rising incidence in certain specific age groups, consistent with patterns that were observed in other developed countries. The patterns are relevant to design prevention strategies and to improve also early diagnosis. I want to thank my research group, REDECAM, for the data, and all of you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Before moving to the remaining finalists, we will take another short break from scientific content, and I'm very pleased to welcome on this virtual stage Yuri Ito, winner of the Enrico Anglesio Prize in 2010. The very first year, the contest was hosted during the annual conference of the International Association of Cancer Registry. Yuri Ito is now a leading figure in medical statistics at the Osaka Medical and Pharmaceutical University and an active member of our alumni committee. Some of our students have taken part in the prize in recent years, including one among this year's finalists. Yuri, welcome, and thank you for your willingness to join us and answer a few questions live.
Hi, thank you very much for this opportunity, and congratulations for the 20th anniversary of the Enrico Anglesio Prize. It is very pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Let's go back for a moment to 2010. You received the Enrico Anglesio Prize for a work you presented at the IACR conference in Yokohama, winning in your own country. What do you remember most about that experience?
At that time in 2010, I had just finished my postdoctoral fellowship, and I had got a position as a full-time researcher at Osaka Cancer Registry in Japan. And I was just starting out in my research career, and I had attended the IACR meeting annually since 2003. So I knew many researchers from cancer registries around the world. So in 2010, as we are hosting the IACR meeting, so I had several roles in the conference. And one is a role of the MC for the reception and fishing dinner in the conference. It's a social event, and also a lecturer on the pre-conference course with the London School of Hygiene Cancer Survivor Group, and where I had been a visiting researcher when I was a PhD student. And in addition to a very big role as a candidate for this Enrico Anglesio Prize in 2010. And hosting the IACR meeting in Japan, for me, it was the first time. It was really a precious experience. And many of my colleagues from London School of Hygiene visited and attended the IACR meeting in Yokohama. And I was really happy to host of them. And also, I hope some of you, if you attended the conference, if you still remember the memory of Yokohama.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was not there at that time, but it seems that you have a very busy time. So how did winning the prize influence you afterwards? Did it change anything in your work or in your confidence?
Yes, after winning in this prize, many researchers in this area, cancer registry area, recognized me, which was a very great experience. And in addition, I was very excited to be awarded in the prize in the first round of the IACR meeting, because I attended the IACR meeting for a long time. So it was very great pleasure. And over 16 years later, I'm still benefiting from receiving this prize, both practically and psychologically. Psychologically, it was a huge boost to my confidence, and it made me believe that I could be an effective researcher and that I could make a difference to cancer care using statistics. So practically, it enabled me to make connection with other young researchers and share ideas. I think it also helped my career to put Enrico Anglesio Prize winner on my CV.
Thank you, very nice to hear. Now, 15 years later, you are not only an active member of the alumni committee, but also a mentor, with some of your students participating in this prize, and as said, including one among this year finalists. How does it feel to see your students following your same path?
Yes, I'm very happy to have this opportunity. Since 2018, I moved to work in medical school and started mentoring PhD students and young researchers in this field. So these days, I have particularly interested in the problem of health inequalities and cancer outcomes. So I am trying to address this issue in national or regional cancer control planning in Japan with my young collaborators. At ISER meeting in 2023 in Spain, my 2 PhD students tries to be candidates of this prize, and although it was not successful, but it was really good opportunity for us to prepare the prize. And this year, Mariko, my young colleague, presented and tried to have this prize. I'm very proud to see her presentation today.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful circle from being recognized yourself to watching the next generation continue that legacy. Considering how much has changed also in the organization of the prize from an in-person event and from the conference hall of 2010 to this completely virtual environment of today, what do you think make the Enrico Anglesio Prize so enduring? What do you think are the features of the prize that make it to survive for 20 years with all these changes in between?
I think that connecting with the conference was a very great idea, because the presenter in the conference can be candidate. But this virtual style is also a very good idea, because some countries cannot attend the conference in person due to the geographical barrier. So I hope this prize can continue. So the style was changing, but I hope this prize can continue next 20 years also.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's also our wish. And finally, what message would you like to share with the 2025 finalists?
Yes, all of you are selected as a finalist of this high competitive prize, so you must be very confident for your effort and research. And after your presentation, you will be recognized as one of the very important new researchers in this area. Please proud of that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
Sorry, do you want to add something?
And after you got the prize, and you need to publish very immediately to get the double money.
It's always a challenge to become the winner and also manage to then publish. But of course, this is a very great, inspiring contribution. Thank you very much, Yuri, again. And now we can continue with the presentation from our last 4 finalists. So a warm welcome to Aina Ramaguera from Catalan Institute of Oncology in Barcelona, Spain, presenting a study titled Age Period Cohort Analysis of the Incidence of Large B-cell Lymphoma in Spain, 1994-2019, a population-based study.
Okay,
Aina, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. So in this study, we delved into the incidence of large B-cell lymphoma using an age period cohort approach. All primary malignant large B-cell lymphoma cases were retrieved from the REDECAN database, covering 25% of the Spanish population, showed in the map. And then age period and cohort variables were categorized in quinquennial groups and then fitted into a Poisson regression model, adjusting for sex. And those were the results. Age effect showed a peak in the age group of 80 to 84 years, revealing a biological aging process involvement in the disease. Period effects also revealed an incidence rate ratio of 1.73 for both sexes, suggesting an improvement in the diagnostic techniques. And finally, cohort effects were sex-specific and only significant in men in the cohort groups that are highlighted in the slide. And finally, time-dependent incidence rate ratio showed a male preponderance according to age and also according to birth cohort. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aina. Next is Noah Setiboubaker from the National Institute of Applied Science and Technology in Tunisia, with a presentation on integrative biomarker signatures for personalized management of urothelial carcinoma, bridging molecular mechanism and clinical translation. Noah, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. So hello everyone. I want to address my warm thanks to the organizing committee for this opportunity to cancer researchers and for the jury for the honor of being among the finalists. So our research is concerning urological and urothelial carcinoma, which remains a highly heterogeneous disease, where predicting patient outcomes and selecting the right treatment remains a significant clinical challenge. So my research addresses these gaps with a central objective, which is developing an integrative biomarker framework that brings together molecular, systemic, and functional markers in order to improve risk stratification, prognosis, and personal treatment. So across projects conducted between 2017 and 2025 in Tunisia and Italy, my research established a really true translational bridge from discovering molecular mechanisms to validating biomarkers clinically to building integrative mechanistics models. So our research is basically structured among several complementary pillars. The first, we focused on molecular biomarkers, especially microRNAs and gene expression alterations. And within this context, several dysregulated microRNAs have shown strong association with the tumor aggressiveness and progression. In parallel, gene alterations provide additional diagnostic and prognostic value. Together, these molecular signatures helped us better understand the biological identity and behavior of urothelial tumors. Second, we investigated systemic inflammatory markers such as neutrophil to lymphocyte ratio, platelet to lymphocyte ratio, and the systemic immune inflammation index. And these markers were really simple, reproducible, and inexpensive, yet they were independently and strongly predicting recurrence and progression. Our third pillar explores drug microRNA interaction networks, and we have identified in this context several microRNAs that regulate key pathways involved in DNA damage response and apoptosis. And these interactions highlight microRNAs that could really and potentially sensitize tumor to cisplatin, and which is one of the main treatment in the bladder cancer, which opens the door for new therapeutic strategies and helped us identify actionable targets for future drug development and functional validation. And finally, and thanks to grant postdoc, to the Umberto Veronesi grant postdoc fellowship that I won on 2022, I have learned to examine the functional impact of missense variants using genome editing by CRISPR-Cas9 engineered cell models. So this functional genomic approach will be applied in our project on bladder cancer in order to enhance our ability to predict patient response to DNA damaging treatments and strengthen the clinical relevance of genetic testing. So by combining all these multi-omic, systemic, and functional data, so our research enhances patient stratification, improves the accuracy of prognosis model, and bring us closer to effective personalized treatment pathways. Ultimately, these contributions lay the foundation for future biomarkers platforms that can be translated into clinical practice, advancing precision oncology for patients with urological carcinoma. And this multi-dimensional strategy is not only will not only be applied in our team to bladder cancer, but also in other personalized oncology approaches in upper tract urothelial carcinoma and also in non-urothelial carcinoma such as prostate cancer. And by the occasion, I want to thank my big family in Regina Elena Institute in Rome, Italy, in the urology department of Charles Nichols Hospital in Tunisia, and in the laboratory of protein engineering and biomolecules in the National Institute of Applied Sciences and Technology in Tunisia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Noah. And now from Africa, we return to Europe. The next speaker is Caroline van der Starre from the Netherlands Comprehensive Cancer Organization, who will present on informed choices, patient and healthcare professionals' perspective on high-risk prostate cancer treatment decision-making.
Thank you for the introduction and thank you for the nomination. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in the Netherlands, and about 1 in 6 men diagnosed with prostate cancer has high-risk prostate cancer. So high-risk prostate cancer is a subtype of localized disease in which patients have a higher risk of disease progression and death due to prostate cancer. These patients are often treated with surgery, robotic surgery, or radiation therapy, often combined with hormonal treatment. We see, however, in international guidelines that there's really limited evidence about these treatments, and there is no consensus yet which treatment is optimal for this patient group. And this because there's, of course, limited evidence of high quality. So that's why we started the RECOVER study. And the RECOVER study is a large prospective cohort study comparing these treatments for men with high-risk prostate cancer, specifically focusing on quality of life and functional outcomes over time using questionnaires, but also looking at survival and cost effectiveness. And the RECOVER study is embedded in the Netherlands Cancer Registry. So currently, approximately 600 patients are enrolled in the RECOVER study from 29 different hospitals, and the inclusion is still ongoing. So as I said before, all patients in our study are eligible for both treatments, so both for surgery and for radiation therapy. So this left the question for me, how does a patient choose? How does he choose one treatment over the other? So to study this, we started a qualitative study using semi-structured interviews, aiming to see how patients in our study select one treatment over the other, but also focusing on the treatment information that patients receive from different Dutch hospitals and see if this differs between hospitals, and to see how the experiences of patients and healthcare professionals are with this information provision. So I summarized our themes very briefly. We interviewed both patients and healthcare professionals until saturation was reached, and we found that there was a large variation in the way that information provision is organized between hospitals, especially in the healthcare professionals that provide this information and in their responsibilities. Patients were in general very satisfied with the information they received. However, their biggest point of improvement was the personalization of this information. And as I said before, all patients we interviewed were eligible for both treatments. Interestingly, the vast majority of these patients received a treatment recommendation. And when patients received a treatment recommendation, they always chose the treatment that aligned with that recommendation. Luckily, we saw that patients did feel very autonomous in their treatment decision. So other reasons for patients to select one treatment over the other were, for example, the experiences of their prostate cancer survivors, friends or family, but also the perception of potential treatment side effects. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, last only because of alphabetical order, Moike Vertluis, also from the Netherlands Comprehensive Cancer Organization, who will present on experiences of patients and relatives with end-of-life care in advanced cancer from the final months to bereavement. Moike, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction and for the opportunity to present our study here. As most of you probably know, end-of-life care is a critical aspect of oncology, influencing not only patients but also their relatives. Yet most studies reporting on the experiences only focus on one perspective, which is that of the bereaved relatives mostly. So our study aimed to broaden this view and gain insight into the experienced end-of-life care of both patients and their relatives. To do this, we used data from a large prospective longitudinal multi-center EAP study, which was combined with clinical data retrieved from the Netherlands Cancer Registry. And in total, we included 367 patients with stage 4 cancer, 242 relatives, and 163 bereaved relatives. Our results show that patients reported a mean satisfaction with care of 72 out of 100 in the last 3 months before their death. And the regression analysis showed that higher continuity of care was associated with higher satisfaction in patients. Relatives reported a mean satisfaction score of 59 out of 100 for the care they received for themselves during this period. And the regression analysis showed no association. In the last week, 96% of bereaved relatives reported that patients were treated with respect and dignity, and that most patients were aware of their impending death. At the time of death, 87% of the bereaved relatives reported that the patient died peacefully, and that most of them received enough space to properly say goodbye, and that they felt sufficiently reported by healthcare professionals during the patient's death. So after the death of the patient, 66% of bereaved relatives spoke to a healthcare professional about the illness or the death of the patient, but only 37% received information on grief or bereavement support, and 20% who did not receive this information did indicate that they would have wanted such information. So in conclusion, end-of-life care for patients was generally perceived as good, with continuity of care being an important factor for patient satisfaction. However, these results also show that more attention is needed for relatives during but also after the patient's death. And I also want to take this opportunity to, again, thank all the patients and relatives for sharing their experiences. Thank you very much for listening as well.
Thank you, Moike. And now, the moment everyone has been waiting for, I'm pleased to give back the floor to Stefano Rosso for the announcement of the winners.
Now it's time, as we remind before, we will start with the Anglesio Prize that this year, for celebrating the 20th anniversary, will give two ex aequo winners. And it's not the first or the second, but nevertheless, I have to say that those chosen winners were really, really quite close in the ranking. So it's correct that they should both win this prize this year. So the first winner, the first of the two ex aequo winner, is Nienke Alberts with cancer incidence among migrant population in Europe, observation from 5 population-based cancer registry within the Cancer Radar Initiative. Congratulations, Nienke.
Thank you so much for the prize. Well, yeah, thank you so much. I feel very honored. I agree that, coming to here, you have a lot of mentors that help and guide you to this place. So I'm very thankful for that, and also for the committee, of course, for selecting me. And I hope, as from the interviews, this prize will help and serve as a springboard for my future career, indeed, too. So I'm a bit shaking, so I don't know what. Thank you so much. That's it.
Congratulations again. So now, the next ex aequo winner is Daniel Redondo Sanchez, with his study on is cancer increasing in young adults in Spain, incident trends for the period 1993-2018, from Spain. Congratulations, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the prize. Thank you.
Okay. It was hard work, I know, because everybody is looking for those new trends today. So it was really a very important study.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to the organization and the jury. It's been a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And then, so we go to the Elbo Tempia Prize given for the youngest participant with the highest score, although after the first winners in this case, because there are two. And the prize goes to another Dutch, Carolina van der Star, with her study on informed choice, patients and healthcare professional perspective on high-risk prostate cancer treatment decision-making. Congratulations, Caroline.
Thank you. I did not know I was the youngest, so it is quite a surprise. I would really like to thank the jury, of course, for acknowledging my nomination, but most importantly, I would like to thank all patients who are contributing and are going to contribute in my study, which is still ongoing. And of course, all my colleagues who helped me throughout my whole PhD. So thank you very much, all of you.
What is your age? What is your age?
I'm 27, so not that young, I think.
You should have asked the age.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we go to the Harald Zurhausen prize, special prize given to the highest scoring candidates coming from a low and middle income country. And this year goes to Luis Gabriel Paralara for his study on survival for colon adenocarcinoma in a hospital-based cancer registry in Cali, Colombia. Congratulations, Luis Gabriel.
Oh, thank you. I'm very excited. And this prize is very important for me as founder of hospital-based cancer registry in Cali, Colombia. When I started my career as medical doctor, and now we are working very hard to work in cancer epidemiology in my hospital and my city, Cali. Thank you.
And I would add that we have already some winners from Colombia, so it's a good environment for developing important scientific work in this area. Thank you. Thank you to you, Luis Gabriel, for your contribution.
May I make a commentary?
Yeah, sure.
Going by memory, it seems to me today we have 4 winners and 2 are male and 2 are female. That is quite exceptional with respect to the recent edition, because if I remember well, all the series of IAC rounds have been won by female competitors. Out of the 4 edition of the virtual format, 3 have been won by female competitor, and today we have 1 female competitor and 1 male competitor, because there is the duplication of the prize. But this perfect balance between sexes, this perfect sex ratio, is very positive in my opinion.
Yes, and I would like also to add one point. For the candidates that didn't win this time, I would say that is in our history of the prize, 20 years, now we have quite a statistics that if you apply several times, you raise your chances to be a winner. So don't don't forget next time to apply again, because I mean it's also a training in a way. Competing in this competition give you a way of improving your communication and video and so on, and also the soundness of your study. And I will remind finally all the winners, then we will write you with instruction for receiving and collecting your prizing and your certificates. And we will give a certificate of participation to all the candidates. So once more, the floor to Lydia for a brief advertise of the Enrico Anglesio Prize alumni.
Thank you, Stefano. I want to congratulate all the participants and especially the winner of this 2025 edition, and also to remind to all participants that you are now a member of the Enrico Anglesio Prize Alumni Committee, a vibrant community created in 2021 that nowadays counts around 250 members. Guided by the motto Carpe Diem and Scientiam and coordinated by a 4-people cabinet, the committee aims to connect young cancer researchers around the world to share knowledge and experience, follow career development, and celebrate achievement. We organize webinars, in-person and virtual gathering, and we are also quite active online throughout the YouTube channel of the Fondo Elena Moroni, where you can find some webinar we hosted in the past, a LinkedIn group you can ask access to, a list serve service, and also a dedicated page on the Fondo Elena Moroni website, where each member has a personal profile to showcase their work and career milestone. And of course, we warmly welcome initiative and proposal from all of you. So essentially, we're looking forward to hearing from you, and welcome. And now I'm delighted to give the floor to Roberto Zanetti for the closing remark.
Congratulations to everybody, the competitors, the jurors, the organizer. Thank you, Mr. Petronella, for assisting during the ceremony. So let's go on for another 20 years, and has even a long journey start with the first step. The first step is see you next year in 2026. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you all. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.